He is a promising up-and-coming professional boxer with a record of 5-2. He's as tough as nails. He is Jordan the Game Grant. Welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for having us on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So recently, about 5 weeks ago, you had a fight, and in the first few seconds of the fight, you broke your hand.
Yep.
Talk about what was your mindset once you hurt your hand, and how did you manage to secure a victory on top of that?
Well, obviously, it was right in the first round. I knew I was catching my opponent with the jab quite a lot, and then I caught him with one. I think it was a bit funny where I'd caught him. I think I caught him the top of the head. I just felt it straight away. I knew that something was wrong, and then obviously I went back to the corner at the end of the round. And I said to my coach, "Look, Jerry," I says, "I think I broke my hand here." And he's like, "Keep it down. You can't let MD know that you're injured." So obviously I'm like, right, I would never retire in the corner. I mean, if anybody knows me, it's just not something that I would do. So I went back out for the second round, and then I tried to kind of tried to shoulder roll with my left hand, and just it's not something I usually do, but you could tell I was feeling it. Just throwing right hands, right uppercuts. I was landing really well, right hooks. I was catching them, but I just feel like if I'd had my jab, I would have been able to set up a kind of knockout punch. But saying that, I did happen quite a lot still with my jab or with my left hand, and the pain was excruciating. But listen, I got through, and I still got the win.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, that I can't even imagine, and that's some next level toughness right there. I mean, to keep going and to push through and to get the victory, that's unreal. So, congratulations on getting that victory. And how is the recovery process coming along now?
So it was originally I get told that it was 6 to 8 weeks for recovery. So it's been about 5. Obviously, with me working full time, I'm working with I'm a tiler, so it's with heavy tiles and stuff. So it's not really had the best time to. Obviously, I've got to do my job to make the money to get by. So having to do that and stuff, it's maybe not got the best time to heal. But listen, it is what it is. We'll test it out in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll look at dates for my next fight.
Yeah, talk about that for a second. You work a full-time job as a professional tiler. Talk about training for boxing on top of working a full-time job and being a family man as well. Talk about that a little bit.
It's hard trying to juggle it all. My partner will say it's I'm never in the house, which is true. So like in the mornings, if I'm in a camp for a fight, I'll go train in the mornings. Then I'll go to my work. I'll do my shift, and then usually at nights, Tuesday, Thursdays, we have sparring. And then every other night of the week we've got our own training. So either we're going to run or we're in the gym punching the bags, and it's obviously then I'll do extra jobs at the weekends now and then. But when I'm in a camp, I just try and keep it. I try and keep the same consistency, so I know my training nights. I know what days I'm going to the gym in the morning, and it's just trying to juggle it all as well as seeing my wee one, and my partner's pregnant as well, so it's just trying to juggle it all. So the time off the now because I broke my hand has been quite good, just to see the wee one and just spend a wee bit more time. But I must say that I'm eager to get back to boxing and get back to that structure again. So no, it is tough, but it's something that we've learned to live with, and at the end of the day, hopefully, it gets me to where I want to be. I want to obviously get to as far as I can in boxing.
That's kind of the other side of boxing that a lot of people don't see is, promising up and comers. Not everybody is Jake Paul or a Tommy Fury or whoever. A lot of you guys are working just as hard as they are. Well, actually, even harder, because you got to mix in both the gym and training, and you got to mix, the job. And I know Tommy and Jake, those are just the two examples I have, but they're kind of hot topics right now. But they don't have kids. So a lot of boxers have to overcome a lot and to hope to hit the big time. Like it is not an easy journey at all.
No, it's no easy, and obviously people don't realise is we're putting our lives in the line every time we get in the ring. It only takes one punch to hurt someone. So it's a tough sport. If you're not one of these sponsored athletes, or you've no get money coming in or millions of pounds coming in for other avenues, it's tough. It's no lavish lifestyle. It's nitty gritty. You've got to work hard. You've got to. There's times where you think, is this worth it? But but once you win, once your hands raised in the ring, once you're getting recognised from people, there's maybe titles coming up in the line, like stuff like that. It just makes it worthwhile.
I know. And I don't think people realize how difficult the training is itself. For boxing and combat sports in general, it is next level.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a good discipline that you learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of high intensity fitness involved. But listen, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just in my DNA to be like that. The training, it's something that I need in my life. So I don't go out or drink or stuff anymore. So that's my focus is so when I'm training. So then now with my time off, I'm now at the stage where I need to go back into it. I need to be back training hard. But it's different. I mean, I used to play football for years, soccer to you, but I played football, so that was my thing. It was between football and boxing, and I played a decent level at football, but boxing was just I could take that to the next level, and I just decided that, do you know what, I'll take a chance, because unlike most other boxers, I don't have a huge amateur background. I don't have a huge. There's a lot of boxers that have had so many amateur fights and never experienced what I've experienced in the pro game.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I've worked really hard for years prior to me turning pro. I had about a year where I just stuck in the gym with Jerry. I got beatings in sparring. I was learning. I just put so much into it. And I learned so much. Still learning. I'm learning every time I go in the ring. But do you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. It's great.
So yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about your amateur career for a second. How many amateur fights did you have?
Handful of amateur fights, and I've done some white collar fights as well. So it's like the unlicensed boxing. So
Sure.
And I've done some of that as well. So I wasn't the most experienced, but what I was hardworking and I was willing to put the time in. And obviously, it's proven now. I go in with a lot of top amateurs. I go in with a lot of top professionals as well. And I like to think that I hope. So no, listen, I'm still a novice to the sport, a novice professional, but I will get to where I want to get to, because I know that I've got the desire and the hard work to get there.
A question I have for you is, why did you choose boxing? What age did you start boxing, and how did you get into it? Because like we've been talking about, it's not an easy life. So how did you end up starting in boxing?
I think you just need to be. I think you need a certain personality trait. Me, I could never sit at peace. I always needed something to do. I was quite hyper energetic. Played football and stuff. When I played football, it was something that we would go for a beer after it with the lads, the football team and stuff. Kind of get caught in a rut, but I also boxed as well, and eventually decided that maybe boxing would be the route I would go down for the discipline. Obviously, try to live a healthier lifestyle. So I went down the boxing route, and I've no looked back since. I've just been working hard at it.
All right. Well, good deal. And my next question for you is, when you know a fight is scheduled, when you have it on the calendar ahead of time, what does a regular day in your life look like in training camp?
Dieting. Make sure I'm eating right, because when I'm out of camp, I like to indulge. No, so regular day for me while in camp is I try and fit the gym in the morning before work. But if I don't, on the days that I'm not going to the boxing gym, I'll go a run at night after work. I run and maybe do some stuff over at the gym that's across the road. I've got a gym local to me, so go between there. Then on a Tuesday and Thursday, I go over to the boxing club, Priestfield, so where my coach Jerry Higgins, where he trains. So I'll go in there and we do our either pads and do our bag circuits, and then obviously work on stuff. We do hill sprints on a Sunday when we're in camp, so we get our hill sprints. But the one thing I will say about boxers, you need to run. Running is key. So you've got to try and get as many runs in each week, but also allow for a rest day as well.
My next question. So that's the day in the life of your training camp. What does it look like when you don't have a fight schedule? How do you stay busy? How do you stay training?
So, like, so obviously, with me having a young family, I've tried to spend some time with my daughter. Maybe even like my best friend to get him round and stuff. Just simple stuff. I try not to complicate it. Don't go out drinking or anything like that. So just I would just spend time with my daughter probably, and my missus. Just try and keep it quiet. Just your usual stuff. Go to the cinema, just stuff like that. Go out for dinner, just stuff like that. Just try and keep it an easy life. My downtime.
Sure. And how do you stay ready? When you don't have that fight scheduled, how do you stay ready?
I'm just trying to tick over with running, going down to the gym, just like easing over. Just go out your steady runs, because everything when you're in camp's high intensity. So when you're out of camp, like go a couple of runs a week, just try and keep that general fitness ticking over, just the way you would if you were a normal gym goer. Because when we are in full camp, it's twice a day, it's high intensity. Sometimes you're doing it three times a day if you can fit it in, like a full time professional would be doing, because they get to have the sleeps and stuff in between. So no, just try and just keep ticking over.
Sure. Oh, interesting. And next, I want to get into some of your philosophies when it comes to boxing. And one is that a lot of boxers don't like lifting weights because they're scared they're gonna lose some speed on their punches. What's your philosophy when it comes to weightlifting?
I did lift heavy before I even done boxing. I was always quite into lifting weights and stuff, but I get quite big quite quick. It must just be a genetic thing. I'll just pile on the muscle as soon as I start lifting weights. So I try and keep the weights low, maybe keep the reps. But I still lift weights and maybe just do press ups, just use my body weight. But I try to stay away from all the heavy lifting, because I do seem to pile on a lot of muscle, and I end up a lot heavier than what I want to be.
All right. Okay, interesting. And then my other question about boxing philosophy you have is, how do you handle sparring? Because you didn't have the longest amateur career, but an amateur career, the white collar boxing, professional boxing, like that, like you said, boxing's a dangerous game.
Yep.
And the body can only take so much. So how do you handle sparring? Do you mix in, heavy sparring and light sparring? Do you do some kind of like the touch sparring? Yep. Or do you just full blast? Like, how do you handle sparring?
So I think my coach will probably tell you this as well. We always went the Scottish style. We always went hammer and tong, full on sparring every time we sparred. And then recently we went down to London, and we were in Mark Tibbs's gym, and I was sparring with a boy called John Hedges, cracking boxer. But what I noticed when we were down there, and we were in Martin Bowers' gym, the Peacock gym as well, everything down there in England is slowed down. It's so technical. It opens your eyes up that no, everything needs to be full blown. Like sparring doesn't need to be 100 miles an hour. That was a good eye opener to see the difference in different places when you go sparring, because definitely up in Scotland it's like the macho thing. I think people want to say, "Oh, I get the better of you" and stuff, but down there they're working on things like you're feinting, you're picking up shots. It was a breath of fresh air. Especially it was me and David Jameson. So that's one. Davey's my training. Well, he's a training partner of mine. He's a cruiserweight. So I was down with him, and the two of us picked it up. It's just different, a different way of sparring. It's good to see. The the likes of sparring, but what I will say about sparring is, for fights, I get next to nothing nerves. But see, going round the gym sparring, I get quite nervous for that. Just obviously getting in with different people, and like obviously with me not having a great amateur background, I always feel like maybe sometimes folk are trying to like a wee bit of headhunting, because they think, oh, how's Jordan Grant got to that stage? It's because I've
Sure.
worked hard to get there. I've worked really hard to get there, and do you know what? I'm just going to keep working hard and see where I can take it.
Well, awesome. And so, what's your ultimate goal in boxing?
Ultimate goal for boxing, it's just to get as far as I can go. I mean, I'm not going to put anything. I'm not going to say I'm going to reach this height, because you never know. Let's be honest. We're in a game where two guys are punching each other. One punch can change your career. So I just like to get as far as I can. Definitely like to win some titles, because it puts some respect on your name. So maybe we'll look at the Scottish title or Celtic, or just something national level just now. Try and get to that stage. Then you just keep slowly knocking at the door, try and move forward. You never know. Honestly, boxing's one of those sports you just don't know where you could end up.
Yeah.
If you put the work in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a lot of respect for you as a boxer. I mean, you have a very viewer friendly style. Like, you're not afraid to mix it up. You're tough as nails. Like, you just want to fight. Well, you broke your hand a few seconds into the fight. And you truly, like, some people are like, hey, I'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. You truly embody that, because you literally just you fought John Doherty and
Yep.
Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury on 3 days' notice, and Doherty, I'm not sure how many days' notice, like a week.
There wasn't a lot of days. I'm sure I found out on the Wednesday I was fighting Doherty as well. So that was crazy. The weight cut for that was crazy. It was actually very, very unhealthy. But it is what it is. I couldn't reject the money. The money was too good for my family. John Doherty, what I will say about John Doherty is he's levels above. Levels above. Hopefully I could get to that level one time. Eventually. I think I will. But John Doherty is very, very good. Caught me with a perfect shot. Do you know what? It was actually, I know you don't listen, nobody likes to get beat, but it was like, if there was any way that he was taking me out, that was like the best way, because my head wasn't bashed up. I didn't feel, I just get caught, I get winded, and then within a minute, I was better again. And I was gutted. I was really, really gutted. But do you know what? He was just that finesse. Took a step to the side, come up to the body, but perfect. But respect to him, and I hope he does well in the rest of his career. Like I said, it's the same with Tommy as well. Like that was a close fight, and for me having
really close,
it was really close. But it is what it is. The result was the way it was. And do you know what? We became good mates. I've obviously been involved in his last sparring camp, so hopefully I can get involved in his camp again for the Jake Paul fight. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you are a promising up and comer. Like, you've shown that you are, you're a legit. You're a good boxer. But for boxers who are promising up and comers to take the quality of fights that you have on short notice is kind of unheard of. Like 3 days for a guy like Tommy, and a few days for Doherty. I mean, that's unreal. And I think that experience is going to pay off for you in the long run, getting in the ring with those guys and getting that experience under the lights.
Yeah, I think so as well. Obviously, I've been exposed to the bigger side of it, like so the Doherty fight was on the Josh Taylor undercard at the Hydro in Glasgow. I mean, that's the biggest arena. Obviously, my last fight was at the Hydro as well, but the Josh Taylor and the size of that show, it was crazy. So I'm not a stranger to that now. I've seen that. I've been in those big light situations. Obviously, like some of the Fury one, I was coming away. I was down to England, so it was I was the away fighter. It was hostile, but do you know what? I think I took it my stride. I just went for it.
Yeah. No, you definitely went for it. I mean, you brought the fight to Tommy, and that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit more. Is you came in as the underdog. You only have 3 days' notice. I mean, Tommy, he we had full training camp with the best resources available. You got the call on a Wednesday, and you had to get ready in 3 days. I mean, despite that, that fight was so competitive. It was so even, and like in my personal opinion, you could have made the argument that that was a draw, but it was, Tommy's home venue. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But how did you train for a fight of that magnitude on 3 days' notice?
Well, we kind of knew that we might have got the fight. It was never confirmed until the Wednesday, but we knew maybe a week out, maybe a week before, and I was in the gym training. I was just putting extra miles in, and just I had it in the back of my head, and I was manifesting it. I was saying it to myself, I'm going to get this fight. I'm going to get this fight. Sure. And then over in the Wednesday, it just get confirmed. I think my medicals was the issue. So your medicals you've got to get yearly. They take a bit of time to get processed and stuff once you get the brain scan, and I think it was sitting on a desk somewhere, and the fight was at jeopardy because it was the weekend, and it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday wasn't going to be enough time to get it processed. But I think maybe Frank Warren got involved. I'm sure, or somebody got involved to push it through to the boxing board, and sure enough, Wednesday I get the phone call. Right, this is your offer. Are you going to accept it? So we accepted the offer, and before you know it, I was fighting live on BT Sport. So it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a big experience. I learned from it. The result didn't go my way, although maybe it was closer than what was seen. But listen, I've made good friends out of it. I've been involved in a good training camp with Tommy, and I wish him the best for the Jake Paul fight.
And what I really respected about your performance there is you really took it to him. Like, you were on the front foot. Was it a major point of emphasis heading into the fight? Like, hey, Tommy's been on the front foot for just about every single fight so far. He's been the aggressor. Was an emphasis for you to be, I'm going to be aggressive and I'm going to put him on his back foot?
Yeah, well, so obviously we wanted to see how he coped under pressure. To be fair, he boxed well on the back foot. I did get a good bit of success as well, but it was just that was the game plan. That's how he can handle pressure, because I knew that I had the capabilities to go and put it on him. So that's just what I went out to do. I kind of try and do that most of my fights. Try and push the fight, and I go forward. Obviously, there's a time and a place to sit back and think. Maybe that, like the Doherty fight, maybe I should have sat back a wee bit more. But that's why I'm taking these fights, because I'm learning this. Like, I know now someday the pedigree of Doherty would just take a step to the side when you're rushing forward, and you'll get caught easy. So that's why you take these fights on, to learn. As I said, I'm still raw. I've not had the big amateur experience, whereas Doherty's fought everybody in the amateurs. He's fought all the top guys. Like Sir Tommy, I'm sure he had a bit of an amateur career, and it wasn't massive either. He's still kind of raw as well. But no, like every fight I take on is to learn, and obviously to win, but to learn as well.
That's really interesting to get that insight there. And my next question for you is, Tommy Fury, how good is he as a guy who shared the ring? What is he capable of? Like, what's his ceiling in boxing, and how good is he?
What I will say is, like, he has a good set of skills boxing wise. He isn't what people say. He isn't just a pretty boy, and he's not a reality TV star. He's serious about boxing. He trains very hard. He puts his heart and his soul into it. Definitely, I've seen that when I was doing their training. He puts everything into his training, and I'll tell you what, he packs a punch. He definitely packs a. And I think, obviously, like I said, Jake Paul's his chin's not been tested, and I think if there's anybody to knock him out, I think Tommy would stand a good chance of knocking him out, because he does hold power. Like that, I mean, like I Jake, I'd like to fight Jake Paul. I mean, I'd fancy my chances against him, or his brother. The two of
them, both in one night.
The both of them, I'll fight the two of them
there we go.
For half the money.
There you go. Jake and Logan, we got somebody for you here.
You need to tag them.
So and that's kind of interesting. Talking about calling guys out. Tommy's
Yep.
last fight was billed as, "Hey, this is Tommy's toughest opponent. He's 10-1." Daniel Pachinski, and no disrespect to Daniel Pachinski, but you were his best opponent. It's not even really close in my opinion. And Pachinski has got heart and he's tough, but he just wasn't given the God-given physical abilities. Like, he's a tough guy, but that's really it. What do you think about taking on Daniel Pachinski for a battle? Who was the toughest opponent Tommy's fought?
Listen, I think everybody knows who's Tommy's toughest opponent. There's a reason I'm in sparring with him. There's a reason they've invited me into their camp. The likes of Pachinski, but when I watched it, I'm like, it made me cringe a wee bit when they were saying his toughest opponent. I think the BT commentary sometimes a bit biased. Like it was biased tonight. I fought him as well. Pachinski wasn't his toughest fight. I was his toughest opponent, definitely. So at least we can use this interview to get that out there. No, Pachinski wasn't Tommy's toughest opponent.
Agreed. But would you be down to fight Daniel Pachinski?
Oh, listen, I've said yes to harder opponents. So yeah, of course.
Yeah. Daniel Pachinski, come on out. I want to see this fight because I think you win and you win handily, in my opinion. So, and talking about Tommy and you're his sparring partner, your primary sparring partner, or all of his sparring was with you at his fight at Wembley, correct?
Yep. I think he had sparring with maybe another boy, but I was down there 3 times a week, so I would travel down and travel back up on the same day. So,
okay.
So it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours down there, and obviously sparred, and then 2.5 hours back up the road.
Well, what does it mean to you personally that, Big John Fury and Tommy in his camp wanted to bring you back and wanted to bring you as a sparring partner? That's quite the compliment.
Can't say Tommy Fury and John and even Tyson, met Tyson as well, and Arthur, Tommy's trainer. They're all great guys. Everybody down there was so welcoming. They just made us feel at home. It was great to be down there. Hopefully, get back down again. Obviously, supporting Tommy, regardless if I'm not back in the camp. Hope he beats Jake Paul. But no, listen, they're great guys. Obviously, you see them and it's like carry on, and but see being down there and in their personal space, they're just great people.
That's really cool that you met Tyson. Did you get to watch Tyson fight at all? And did you learn anything from Tyson? I mean, in my opinion, he's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yep, I watched him sparring. We watched some rounds. Oh, just next level stuff. Just crazy. Just picking up wee things. Just great to watch. Great to watch. I'll not say too much about his sparring, but it was great.
Would you like to see Tyson come back for one more fight and take on the winner of Usyk, Joshua?
I think he will. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I think he will.
Okay, I would love to see it because it's annoying. I mean, Tyson doesn't have anything left to prove. It's annoying to me when people are like, "Oh, he's got to do this for his legacy." He's done enough. Yeah, he is unbelievable. But if Tyson wants to call it a career, just people need to respect that. But
definitely,
I would love to see the fight though. He's for me as a fan of Tyson, it's like, okay, I would love to see it for his legacy, but the man's already taken enough punishment. He's like 34. He's been in wars. These Wilder fights have been tough fights, but it's kind of dilemma. Like I if he wants to call it a career, call it a career. But selfishly, I kind of want to watch him knock out the winner of Usyk, Joshua.
No, so do I. I would like to see that being his last fight. That's a great last fight, and for him to, if he wins that last fight, your career is just impeccable. So, as it stands, his career's amazing. But that would put a ceiling on it.
There would be no doubt in my mind that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. If he wins that, I mean, what can anybody say? I mean, the guy's, he's 6'9". He can dance around like I don't even know who, but he's got defense like Floyd Mayweather. He's got power. He can do everything. He's got the right hand of Jake Paul. I'm just kidding. he's got everything, and he does not move around like a regular 6'9"
Oh no, he
guy.
doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't move. He's kind of weak in nature, but do you know what? He's brilliant. He's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you watch the Bivol Canelo fight, or did you follow that at all?
Yep, I did. I seen it. Yeah, yeah. Bivol just dynamite. Just stuck to his game plan and he just executed it perfectly. I think that's just Canelo's just too high, just too many weight divisions. He's went up too much there. Just likes a obviously when he fought Kovalev, he was at the end of his career. But
Yeah.
these guys like Bivol and Beterbiev, like these guys at light heavyweight they're in their prime, and it's just too big for Canelo. I think just far too big.
So you think if there was a rematch between Bivol and Canelo, Bivol's just too big?
I think he's just too big. I think Canelo's just jumping too many weights.
Sure.
Honestly, he's, pound for pound, he is one of the greatest. He is. There's no one can argue that. He's brilliant to watch, but I think that's just too many weight divisions. I think he's for the elite light heavyweights, they're just too heavy for him.
Sure.
They're just definitely Beterbiev. That's a scary fight. I think if for Canelo, a Bivol and Beterbiev fight would be good.
Yeah, and there's rumors that Canelo was saying, "I want to fight Usyk." I don't think that's what he wants.
No, I don't think once they got to that weight, it's just too far. Too far. Yeah. Back down to was it middleweight? Him and Golovkin are fighting that. I'm sure it's middle. Yeah. I think. That's going to be a good third fight.
Yeah, now it's looking like Jake Paul is the next opponent for Tommy Fury. I mean, Tommy's been boxing his entire life. I believe he's got 12 more amateur fights than Jake, 3 more professional fights than Jake. I mean, many boxers have different opinions on Jake Paul, but do you respect for Jake for this early into his career to be willing to get into the ring with Tommy Fury?
Definitely, because like I said, Jake has devoted himself to boxing the last few years that he's been boxing. So he's had the best training. He's been training hard. He's obviously been fighting. He's not fought a boxer yet. Let's be honest, he hasn't. But he has put the work in. So listen, fair play to him. He's taking on Tommy. May the best man win. I do think Tommy wins, but listen, we'll see.
It's Tommy Fury's toughest opponent so far. Give me a prediction. Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. Who wins? How many rounds does it last? And how does it end?
Right, so knockout. Tommy Fury win. I think it will be later on. Is it a 6-rounder? Or is it an 8-rounder?
8-rounder. 8-rounder.
Is it? Oh, it's an 8-rounder. Round 6 or 7. Tommy Fury knockout.
Okay, there we go. The official prediction is in. And you know what's interesting about this fight is that Tommy, on paper, like I would say, like I'll give you my honest perspective on it. Like my gut, and I would say, like my gut and my head are both kind of telling me, yeah, Tommy's got this in the bag. But the thing that makes it interesting is, love him, hate him, indifferent. Jake has got, like, he loves to fight. He's got a lion's heart. And he's got that great equalizer in that right hand. Like, that's what makes it interesting. Like, Tommy's got the skill, the experience, the bloodline. He's got all that going for him. But I think what makes it an interesting fight is that power Jake's got and Jake's will to win.
Well, Matt, that's why we love boxing, isn't it? That's because you just don't know. One punch could change it. The likes of Jake Paul just needs to land the right hand. But as we're saying that about Jake Paul, Tommy's got a right hand and a left hand as well. So either the two of them could land a punch. It's one punch could change it. So do you know what? Fair play to the two of them for taking it on. They'll make millions. So each of them will be happy. I wish it was me making the millions. That would have been great. But, no, listen. That's my prediction. I think Tommy will win, but fair play to the two of them for taking the fight on. Jake Paul obviously he's got a puncher's chance just like anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to have legit power, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, to turn someone's lights off, like to flip the switch like you did against Tyron Woodley. I don't care who, or even the basketball player, Nate Robinson. Like to turn the light switch off, you got to
Yeah.
have some
Yeah. Yeah.
power. And Tommy has to respect that power. You know, even
Oh,
though Tommy has got so much on his side going from me, he's got to respect that power too.
yeah. Yeah. The two of them, they've got to be wary of each other. Obviously, you don't want it to be a boring fight, but I think it's personal and there's a lot on the line.
Oh
So,
yeah.
obviously, you just need to wait and see. And it's going to be good. The build up will be good. The interviews and like the stuff on the socials. So we just got to enjoy it. Hopefully, it ends up a great fight.
What's next for you? What are you looking to do next as a boxer?
Well, I think obviously after the handbrake, we were looking to build some momentum. We were looking to try and look at title fights and stuff. I think what the plan will be now is just get another couple of fights under my belt. Maybe get a 6-rounder, maybe even 2 6-rounders, and then I'll look at what the options are. I'll speak with my promoter, Sam Kinnock, and we'll just see where we can go. We've just got to kind of see where we can take it. Obviously, with the handbrake, I need to make sure that this is right. So I'll probably try punching in the next couple of weeks, and then that'll be able to give me a better idea of when I'll next be fighting. So I'm thinking maybe September, October time. I think to get up to the fitness that I want to be at and make sure my hand's okay.
Sure. Okay, good deal. We talked about this a little bit before, but there's been this crossover with boxers and MMA fighters. Would you be open to fighting an MMA fighter in a boxing match?
Yep. No problem at all with that. Yep, definitely. Obviously, they're still fighters, and they'll hold power, and I respect them for even crossing over. And I wouldn't like to cross over to MMA. I don't fancy getting choked or my leg snapped. But I know. Listen, as I said, we touched on it. I'll fight anybody.
So this kind of leads perfectly into my next question. I have some fight ideas for you, and you'll give me your thoughts. Is that all right?
Yep, go for it.
All right. So Tyron Woodley, both Tommy and Jake's camps have been talking about, hey, we fought this guy. You know, Jake's camp says, hey, I fought a 5-time UFC champion. Yep. You know, Tommy's camp said, hey, but we actually fought real boxers. Fought you. Would you be willing to fight Tyron Woodley? What do you think about that fight?
Of course. And then that'd be a good money earner as well for me. As I said, I would fight anyone. I don't think that any of them are bad fights. I would take on like Woodley. I would happily step in with Jake Paul. Would happily step in with his brother. I would take any fight on.
100%. How do you think a fight goes with Woodley?
Oh, he's too small. It's far too small. I don't even know how the Jake Paul fight even came about with him. It's just the weight categories just don't even match up. He's obviously been on a burger diet to fight him because or he's had to bulk up in the gym. It just never made sense. What is Woodley, a welterweight or something?
Yeah, that was his weight. He was a welterweight. But I mean, naturally, he does look like a thick guy. Like he looks like he's not tall. He's like 5'9", but he looks broad shoulders. Thick core.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like boxing. There's weight divisions for a reason. You don't take on a 6'1" or 6 foot. Paul's taller, isn't he? It's maybe 6'2".
I would guess. You know, my guess is like just looking at him. I would say he's barely 6 feet. That would be my guess. Barely 6 feet. Maybe even like 5'11" and a half in size. So.
But the Woodley thing, like, there's weight divisions for a reason. Why was he not a light heavyweight in the UFC? Because it's not his weight. He's purely he took the Jake Paul fight on like anybody would take it on. It's financial gain. But I thought he would have done better. But at the end of the day, you're still fighting a heavier guy, and that's what happens when you fight heavier guys. It's just the laws of physics. It just doesn't work. I mean, the guy's heavier than you. There's weight divisions for a reason. It just this is going to be good because this is somebody Jake Paul's size. Fury is Jake Paul's size. So it's going to be quite good.
Are you? Well, you're listed at 5'11". Is that correct?
Touching 6.
Touching 6. Okay.
I just like 5'11", touching 6. But I'm very broad, so carry a lot of muscle. So me and Tommy are similar heights. I mean, we're probably about the same height.
Yeah, and the announcers of your fight, they were like, Tommy's the taller, bigger fighter. I'm like, what are you talking about? They look pretty similar to me.
I think I'm just taller than Tommy, but his arms are crazy length, crazy long, like crazy. Like his wingspan is just huge. So that's where it's crazy. Like you would need to see in person. When you see him, you'll think, how long are your arms? His reach is that could play a big part in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your reach?
Can't remember what it is. It's no huge anyway. But bear in mind, my jab is probably my strongest punch, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Do you know if it matches your height or if it's taller than your height?
Nah, I'm not sure. I know Tommy's reach. His reach is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think Tommy's got some length on Jake. And I looked at them when they went backstage and face to face for a second. It looked like Tommy had like just a little bit of height on Jake, just a tiny bit.
They might do. It'll be obviously good to see when they actually fight.
Yeah. So my next opponent I have for you is Anthony Taylor. Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor is his nickname. The MMA fighter who fought Tommy after you. He said he's looking for real boxers to fight. How do you think that fight would go? And would you
I tell you what. Tag Anthony Taylor and tell him I'll fight him, because I'm sure. Did they message me or something? I can't remember anyway. I'm sure they messaged me saying, we watched your fight with Tommy, you won that or something like that. Which is fair enough. I don't have any bad blood to the guy or any of them, but if they're looking for real boxers, I'm looking to get paid. I've got a family to feed. I'll fight any of them. Honestly, if they could sort out some sort of fight, I would fight.
What would that fight look like, you and Anthony Taylor?
Far too big for him. Far too big.
What round?
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, give me something. Let's say it's an 8-round fight. 8-round fight.
See, obviously, I've not got a knockout on my record yet, but because the guys that I've fought, if it's not been your John Docherty or your Tommy Fury, it's been tough journeymen, right? The journeymen that I fought are the guys that want to fight the week after. They want to keep fighting because that's how they make money. That's how they live. They fight every week. So these guys don't get stopped. But I think if someone else is coming to try and knock me out and they're just no as big as me and they're just really no as good either, I think I'm going to knock you out. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm going to really hurt you. So I don't know. I don't really want. I wouldn't predict it, but I know I would beat him.
Okay. Well, that could be a good highlight reel for you. That could be a good one to get a knockout on the board.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So no, and then another guy I got for you, and you talked about you're ready to fight him, but Logan Paul, Jake's older brother, he hasn't won a fight yet, and he wants to prove himself as legitimate, and he's looking for the proper dance partner. I say, hey, why not you? How does that fight go?
Why not? I'm up for the fight. We're similar sizes. I think he might be a bit bigger, but listen, I would take that fight on the heartbeat. It would make me a few bucks. I would earn a few quid for my family. He would be able to test himself against a boxer. Which I think he feels. I don't think he would beat me, but it would be quite good to be and obviously it would be massive. It would get my name out there even more. But that's like fairy tale stuff, fighting these guys. I mean, they're not boxers, but they just bring so many eyes to the sport, which is great.
Yeah, and then
Jake Paul, I think you can say he is a boxer now because he's dedicated his life to it now. So it'll be good to see him and Tommy fight.
Well, the last hypothetical, I know we're talking fairy tales, but I say, why not? Why not you? Why not Jordan Grant get this opportunity? KSI, would you be open to fighting him? Because
Ah,
it
yeah.
looks like he's a fellow. He's also from the UK, and it looks like he really wants to fight Jake. And in a hypothetical world where Jake beats Tommy Fury, I say KSI should have to beat you if he wants to earn a fight with Jake. What do you think?
Oh yeah, that'd be a great fight as well. As I said, it's obviously out there. These guys get the pick of the bunch. I mean, if they call you out or they want to fight you, you're kind of brilliant because it's like for a guy like me, it's it could probably set you up for life. That's another fight I win comfortably.
Yeah,
It's just like I've put a lot of work into my boxing, and obviously these guys have just it started off as like a carry on YouTube fights and
yeah,
stuff like.
yeah.
I
No,
don't down to the nitty gritty of it yet. Do you know what I mean? I think it would. There's they wouldn't have much to lose, but I would have it all to gain. They would. I suppose they could lose. Obviously, they wouldn't be able to box again, but I think I'd win that. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting because these guys bring a lot of eyes to the sport, and honestly, hats off to them, and I think it's great what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's a hard game. It's tough. It's and like so when you've got somebody like me, right, or like most of the other guys in the country who are pro and they're working, and it's hard. Like we're juggling so much. Like any opportunity that we get, we're going to take it with both hands. And like so, if you're not prepared for like so fighting a guy like us, then it's going to be a tough night.
yeah, absolutely. So now, as we wrap up the interview, I have a rapid fire round for you where you just try to answer the questions as quick as you can.
Yep.
All right. All
Yep. Go
right.
for it.
So, who's your dream matchup in the ring right now?
I'd like to fight one of the top in the UK just to see where I'm at light heavyweight. So any of the top 10 in the UK.
Okay, and then historically, is there? Oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
No. Yeah,
Okay,
historically,
yeah, historically, who would be your dream matchup?
it's got to be Mike Tyson in it just to see how bad he actually was.
And I actually have that question for you: Prime Mike Tyson or Prime Tyson Fury? Who wins?
Prime Tyson Fury, I think he's just too awkward. I think, like so, you can see who's beat Mike Tyson and beat Mike Tyson before, like so with Holyfield and stuff. Big guys, just awkward. I think
Hmm.
Tyson is like the king of just being awkward, and
Yeah.
like I think Mike Tyson wouldn't be able to handle it.
Wait, what's your favorite food?
Oh, Chinese
Okay, dogs or cats?
dogs.
Favorite movie?
Oh, see, you've done me on this. Favorite movie when I was a kid? Toy Story.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Favorite movie? Oh, there we go. Look. Separated at birth.
Well, what's your
Um,
favorite movie now?
ah, you've got me. It's not even quick. I don't know. I think it's got to be. I quite like The Last Samurai.
Okay, all
I
right,
like
good
that.
deal. Okay, like when you're in training camp, what's your favorite boxing workout?
Bag circuits.
Okay,
Constant in the bags till you like the sweat's just pouring off you. You know when you leave a bag circuit, you've worked hard. Oh, you feel good.
yeah. What's your least favorite workout?
A bag circuit.
Okay, there you
No,
go.
my least favourite. Like I don't think anybody likes. I do like running, right? But like say the hill sprints, oh, they're killer. But I
Yeah,
think they're all right to start with because I'm quite fast, so I quite just 100 mile an hour up the hill, back down again. Then it just gets like, oh, another
yeah.
one, another one, and then when your coach says at the end, just give me two more.
And then my last rapid fire question for you is: Who's your favorite boxer of all time?
Oh, I like Roy Jones Jr. Ah, he was just crazy, man. He just how he could move, and he was just so slick, and he was cheeky with his punches. He's
Sure.
he's my favorite.
Well, good deal. And now the last question of the interview is, do you want to call out any fighters? I'll clip this, I'll post it, I'll tag them. Any call outs you have right now?
Nah, I don't have it. I'm not that sort of guy. I know this is what you want. You're trying to get. Ah, I'd like to be on the Tommy Fury Jake Paul card. There we go.
Okay. Okay. Hey, no worries. I know that, like we said earlier, that boxing is so much like it's it's the sport itself, but it's the entertainment. I mean, you got to have eyeballs for those for
No,
those
no. Like,
opportunities.
there's fights out there that I would take in a heartbeat, but there's no one that's rubbed me up the wrong way yet.
Okay.
They want to call out. I'd like just take it fight by fight, see what happens. Obviously, my broken hand, I'm not in a position just now to call MD out. I'll get back training first, and then then you can speak to me about how I would call out.
Okay, good deal. I like that. That's I respect that a lot. I respect that mindset a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Grant, Jordan the Game Grant, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Best of luck to you going forward. I'm looking forward to staying connected along the way.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. You take care.